Right.
Well, freak me out. Welcome to Pure and Applied Brainspace for a musical update on a band which is making waves in the left bank of the mainstream reggae, ska, subversive type situation. PZ Room Clearers.
Which band I'm managing at the moment, Debbie. I don't know if you know.
I know, it's why I asked. Right, Tim.
Right, excellent. Yeah, right.
Right. Like, with the El Salvador type tour situation looming up, I mean, rehearsals must be getting pretty
Debbie, look, Debbie, the Clearers aren't into rehearsals.
I know.
The Clearers aren't even into audiences, right?
Well, right.
The Clearers reject the fascist bourgeois mode of a whole lot of crotchets, minims, whatever, screaming from behind musical bars, right?
I wish I'd said that too. Middle C, middle class.
Excellent, right.
With this high level of integrity, Tim, the Clearers must be making enormous sacrifices.
Right, we've had to knock back this support gig for Culture Club. It might have been you too, I can't remember.
Well, Tim, freak me out. That's amazing. Like you two, right? Like I went to a race last week, and I met this really amazing guy, the lady that he used to relate to, she actually flew to LA, and then she got a quick flight to New York and went to Studio 54 and had this amazing dance type situation with a guy whose father's defecto had taken a charter to Guatemala, which was hijacked, and freaked me out. The pilot, the week before, had been through Melbourne, and had been to the clinic in Gertrude Street, Fitzroy, and sat next to a guy who put up posters for you two.
I know that guy.
It was another guy. Tim, what are you doing now that the room clearers are OS?
Right, I've been working with a bunch of guys from the States who dropped around during their rehearsal. They dropped around to my place last Sunday morning. I've been up all night raging, I mean, they came, and these guys were from Salt Lake City, they said, and they looked really new wave, and they had white suits and ties and white shirts and really short hair, and they called themselves elders, which is amazing. And they rave on me about this guy who saw this vision of these golden tablets, and this guy was really blown out by the golden tablets, and he saw these angels and stuff like that, you know, and he put on these 3D glasses and read the tablet.
I just had a
flash. It's just an amazing story.
I mean,
it's just incredible.
I could get together just an amazing video clip. I mean, like, we could apply for grant. Like, we'll check you later,
Through rain and wind and hail, across the burning desert sands, pedaling our vision by a heavenly command. On tubes of air, round rims of steel, golden dreams to feed our zeal. We are your saviors, traveling door to dawning. In new ways, we carry the Book of Mormon. We are the spokesman of the angel Moroni. Don't slam your door, don't say it's all baloney. Sometime last century, Prophet Smith met the angel Moroni with the golden tablets in a dream that none of us have ever seen. Now onwards, upwards. woods we must ride to spread the message far and wide. Long underwear that pricks inside to hide the bits we haven't tried. No snapping, snarling dog can keep us from our goal. Behind that howling hound of hell may dwell a luscious soul. Come with me to paradise and share my golden dream. I could make you a long presentation and show you what it really means. Riding to our destiny, searching for a Mormon bride. Moroni says it's worth the hype. One day we'll have as many as we like. As the cat that has 9 lives, the Mormon Tom can have 9 wives. Save your soul, and if you're pretty, I'll take you all the way to Salt Lake City. Don't slam your door, don't try to stop us. It isn't fair to say we're telling whoppers. Don't slam your door, don't try to stop us. It isn't fair to say.
We took the fat from the yak just for you, put it in a neat pile. Natural love's not that junky goo. I never lasted up because it's better yearning for yak fat. Never lasted up because it's better yearning for yak fat.
Yak fat leaves the custard for kids.
Well, my husband has one. Yeah. Naturally, I'd prefer he didn't, but he's grown rather attached to it. Have you seen it? Oh, good heavens, no. But I've heard it at night. Old Droopy Mugglesworth offered me a look at one of his, but I just could never come at it. Yeah. Well, I remember at school, one of the girls in the lower half said Matron had one. She didn't. She did. Kept it in a bottle in the infirmary. Brought it out for Christmas and hung it on the tree. Frightful.
They give me the creeps. Frightful looking things.
Have you seen one?
Oh, yes. Hundreds. I'll never forget it. Nanny took me to see the changing of the guards.
Oh, poor love. Well, I'm glad I haven't got one. Yes. Must be jolly inconvenient.
Now, say, beats me how the chaps can get around with one of the jolly things. You'd think they'd trip over them or something.
I say, I know when they play cricket, they put them in boxes.
And where do they put the boxes?
Well, if Matron finds out, there'll be hell to pay. You know, I read somewhere, it could have been in a book. Yes, I read somewhere, that this fellow Freud thinks we girls chaps who ought to be a bit miffed having put up with the jolly thing. Say, I say, must be bloody beastly if they stick in you.
Excuse me, madam. Have you tried our new, improved, chunky custard taste test?
No, I haven't.
Well, here, try some. I think you'll be very surprised. Oh, isn't that lovely? Madam, would you like to try our new, improved, chunky custard taste test? There you go, isn't that good? Madam, yeah, would you like to try our new, improved, chunky custard taste test? Oh, aren't you lucky? That's good. Madam, excuse me, would you like to try our new, improved... Madam,
New chunky custard. Good enough to leave in the can.
Good evening. Chunky, Australia's largest producer of custard with lumps, today announced the immediate closure of all its operations and recalled all cans in circulation. Now, a spokesperson for Chunky has said the move was brought on because of adverse publicity surrounding a number of serious deaths linked with eating their product. Today, the spokesperson for the company told Nationwide that it felt it may have been a grave mistake to call Chunky food.
And what are us supposed to do? We only come here because Culabrosia said there'd be plenty jobs for skilled custard workers. Then they shut factory down.
Ah, that's right.
And they tell him he can have a job in yak fat. What's he know about yak fat?
Nothing, bloody nothing.
All he knows is custard with lumps.
I was 10 when I went down custard mine.
Anyway, we hate it here. It's so boring.
It's not like England.
England's not boring, and the custard's got a bloody sight more lumps in it, too.
And there's no yaks.
And there's no yaks. You don't even have racial riots. It's so boring. I don't know why we come here in first place. That's right, Joe, Australia.
You're standing in.
I was with Bagshaw in Africa during the Troubles. Damn fine man in a scrap, Bagshaw. Oh, yeah. On this particular afternoon, we were lunching at the residence. And one of the servants, black fella, said something about the Queen. Oh, you... And coddle me if Bagshaw didn't up and give that dog-eared a damn good thrashing with it.
The only thing I understand.
Yes, but what's it for?
Chap in the village uses his for training greyhounds.
Fairy tales for the force. Jack and Jet and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time.
Jack? Yeah, Jack. Yeah, Nick. Not bad, thanks. Good. Get
out of that! Drop that! Get back!
Okay, Jack, where is it? What's that, Jack? The money for the cow, Jack. Oh. Yeah.
Jack! Sit!
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Get here! Get here!
Where's the money?
Stand here, Russell. Get No, Russell.
Russell, come on.
No.
Go on, get
no,
Jack.
Stand here, Russell. No.
You're bloody hopeless, Jack.
No.
Go on. Hopeless. Bloody hopeless. Should get rid of him, Jack.
Hey! Where's the money?
Well, it's like this, Jack.
Oh,
I was going into town, and I ran into this Italian fella from Griffith. So I swapped all the money for these 3 seeds, Jack. He said they were magic, Jack. He said we'd have aluminium windows, and the sheep could have big weddings, and we'd have huge cars.
Drop it! Drop it!
I hereby withdraw your bone privileges for 3 weeks. Make that a fortnight. said we'd be rich, Jack, and he said we could go home to Italy any time we liked.
How are you? Listen, I won't be a minute. Oh, look, those of you who've been following my career over the last few weeks perhaps would have picked up already that tonight I've got a new desk. And it's a fabulous new desk. Look at this. I mean, it is just beautiful. You don't see desks like this on television these days. It's all beautifully hand-carved wood. It's a friend of mine, actually, carved it. I knew him at Coburg Institute of Technology. He was doing carpentry. And he was a really very clever, very wonderful fellow. And his parents, Mary and Joseph, were very proud of him. I don't know what happened to him. You know, one day in fourth form, he just, I don't know, something happened. He just up and walked off into the wilderness and we never saw him again. But I'd imagine we'd hear a lot more from him. He who lives by the nail, as they say. I'd like to, well, look, you're going to love this. This is just terrific. I want to show you this. This is fantastic. Just have a look at this. You ready? Just have a look at this. Watch. Cigarette. And look at this, down the lens, here it comes. Fantastic. And of course, for the sophisticated man about town, and where do you get your cigarettes? Oh, there they are. Says a lot about cigarettes, really, isn't it? These things, in actual fact, in the 1950s, were considered very risque, and it was the height of European chic to have one of these in your lounge room. And I love them because it really makes you think about the mind of the man who invented it. And not only that, they're so... but they go back. Ooh! You smile. And they're so simple, even a fool can use them. And just to demonstrate, I'd like a volunteer from the audience, please. Could I get a volunteer from the audience? We're just going to get somebody from the audience just to demonstrate how fantastically simple it is. Do we have a volunteer from the audience? It's very typical. Yes, we have indeed. There's a person over there whose 3 friends are making her volunteer. Yes, I'm afraid it's you. It'll have to be you. I'm terribly sorry. Keep your back to the camera so nobody knows who you are. Now, I'm going to ask you your name, but use a pseudonym, OK? Because you will be terribly embarrassed by all this and you won't be able to live it down. Could you just demonstrate to the people that even a fool can use it? All you've got to do is just... Oh, look at that, even a fool! I don't want you to go away empty-handed. I'd like you to... There we are. I'm sorry it's not a BMW, but you've got to remember, this is the ABC. Thanks very much. Well, we've finished with you now. It was very good, wasn't
it? Sex education. Due to the fact that since our last sex education lecture, Rhonda Wilcox has fallen pregnant, Gary Wilcox is in jail, and Graham Wilcox has been asked to leave the football team. I can hear that, Gary. I thought that today's sex education lecture might take the form of an informal question and answer session. Right. Any questions?
Miss, I've got a question, miss. What's it for? What's it for?
What's what for? It.
Oh, well, it's, what do you do with it?
Sir doesn't know.
Now look here. I know what it's for. I'm as virile as the next man.
When's Tommy Testicle coming on and Virginia, what's her name?
Yeah, when are we getting to the good bits?
What's it for? Quite.
And I'll tell you another thing. You wonder why our kids today have such a low respect for our society. Well, you take a look at the general standard of teacher coming out of that classroom during lunchtime, going to his meditation classes, and you might start to get some idea. They're a scruffy-looking lot, they are. There's not a bar of soap between them, and they've got our kiddies in there for 8 hours every day. And you tell me what sort of commie notions they're infiltrating them with, eh? You tell me, you tell me. You can't, can you? Of course you bloody can't. Those kids come out of there and you don't know what they're going to think because they don't use books no more, not like what we did. Oh, no, no, no. We're talking about progressive education here, progressive education. Books are old-fashioned, filled with old-fashioned notions like respect and discipline and a bit of pride in your country. Progressive education. They're filling these kids' heads full of bloody fairy tale. They come out thinking the whole world's one big bloody disco. All this feeling and touching and loving one another and exploring your mind. Ah, that gives me the bloody creeps, that does. The only thing practical that they can ever teach our kids in there, those teachers, is how to add up your holiday pay. If they're so worried about tomorrow's world, why don't they take a few of these strikes during the holidays and spend a bit more time in the classroom and a little less time in the ashram? If they had their way, half these bloody kids would be staring at their neighbours away with the pixies when the Reds make their move, because they're learning something practical in Russia, something practical, something they can use in life, like 30mm cannon practice. And these kids in here, they don't even know who Simpson was, let alone his bloody donkey, and that's why we should leave the flag to say, now clear out! Clear out!
Mom, Dad, I got one.
Oh, well done, Dennis, son. Oh, I think this calls for a bit of a celebration.
Oh, Doug, this is wonderful news.
Oh, the Star Wine.
My word. My very own son with his very own ulcer.
An ulcer, just like a real businessman.
Yes, it's a beauty too. Do you want to see it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it goes with your suit.
Very nice, Dennis, very nice.
Yes, it's a peptic. I wanted a duodenal, but they said...
Sorry, love. I lost my last duodenal in a raid. Yeah. Peptics? Oh, yeah, I've got plenty of peptics. What's that? That's a difficult one. Hang on. I haven't got a 48 in a peptic. The only thing I've got in a 48 is a hernia. The fence!
Pardon us, ma'am. We'd like to make a short presentation on the life of...
Jesus Christ!
Hey, believer.
Watch him out, little, he's on heat, that one.
Want to go to a fancy dress pig shoot?
No. Back, stay. Stay here, Russell. In there, go on, get out of there. Right. Book 'em, Eleanor.
What's the charge, Shirl? Drunk droving? No. Cultivating marijuana. Shocking.
No, they weren't plants, were they, Jack? No, they were sheep. Yeah, sheep. Very green sheep. Yeah. We get $100 an ounce for our sheep.
No. Drop it.
Drop it.
No.
Sit.
Tell it to the judge, boys.
Here, not bad, thanks. Good. They were sheep. They were sheep, or yeah, sheep.
Guilty.
Stay, Jack. Go, Jack, get him. Hold and contain. They were sheep.
Yeah, they were sheep. Yeah, case dismissed.
Drop it. Come on, Jack. Give me one. Told you those seeds were magic, Jack.
Look, girls, I can't stick around. I've got a bribe to accept. Power.
This Sunday at 5:30, Countdown celebrates its 10th anniversary. For a full 90 minutes, Countdown will toast 10 years of rock from our Melbourne studios, with satellite reports from London, New York and Los Angeles.